Ever wonder if your hearing aids are actually worth what you paid for them? Well, you're not alone. You know the saying, you get what you paid for? Well, there are a lot of situations where this statement is absolutely correct. But when it comes to hearing aids, I'm not so sure anymore. Now you're probably thinking, Cliff, you tell us all the time that if you want high quality, best practice audiologic care, that you're gonna have to pay for it. And you know what? You're right. But hear me out. In many situations when purchasing hearing aids and receiving audiologic care, this statement is absolutely true. After all, if you spend a very little amount of money on hearing treatment, chances are you're going to be getting a lower technology level, and the amount of time that your hearing care professional spends with you is going to be limited as well. On the other hand, if you spend a lot of money on hearing aids, chances are you're going to be getting a higher level of technology, and your hearing care professional will be able to justify spending a significantly more amount of time with you to optimize your performance. However, this is not always the case. In fact, I believe that there are numerous hearing aid clinics out there that will still charge you a lot of money for hearing treatment, but they won't actually get you the best hearing aids for you, and they will significantly reduce the amount of time that they spend with you, which at the end of the day is not good from a treatment outcome perspective. Now, I've also seen this on the other side of the spectrum, where some clinics will not charge you very much money for hearing aids, or they will accept insurance reimbursement rates that happen to be on the low side, and they'll still provide you with an excellent treatment experience, even if they lose money in the process. Now, I know that I'm going to get a lot of criticism for this video because this is a rather controversial topic, but if you disagree with me, just go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Due to the prominence of my YouTube channel, I have the fortunate benefit of hearing from a lot of individuals who have hearing loss. Not only do I get to see your comments online, but a lot of you actually call my clinic and email my clinic telling us all about your treatment experiences. After 6 years of hearing all about your amazing stories of treatment success and a lot of disheartening stories about treatment failures, my perspective on the hearing aid industry has changed. Alright, so I'm going to share a story with you. Just last week, we had a patient come into our clinic because she had had a bad experience at another clinic in the Phoenix area. After going online to do some research, she happened to stumble across some of the videos on our YouTube channel and ultimately decided to schedule an appointment for a second opinion. After going through a full consultation and explaining all of the different things that we would be doing from a treatment perspective and the amount of time that would go into it, we finally got to the discussion of the price. Now, just to be clear, my clinic is not the cheapest clinic to go to. We follow comprehensive best practices and follow a person-centered care approach, which means that we spend a lot of time with our patients, and this time comes at a cost. So when we reviewed the total cost of the hearing aid technology, the 45-day best practice fitting sequence, and the 1-year mandatory service plan, we expect that our price is going to be at or maybe even above pretty much anyone else out there. However, the patient actually said that they thought that our price was going to be significantly higher than what we quoted her. Naturally, we asked how much she thought hearing treatment was going to be inside of our clinic, and she said over $12,000 because that's what the other clinic was charging her. The price that she was paying at this other clinic was over $4,000 more expensive than what she would have paid at our clinic, and she was receiving significantly less in terms of the amount of services. So you see, you do not always get what you pay for when it comes to hearing aids. Sometimes you get less than what you pay for. Now, I am not trying to convince you that my clinic is the best clinic on the face of the planet. In fact, the vast majority of you will never ever be my patient. But I'm trying to illustrate a point here, which is just because you spend a lot of money on hearing aids does not mean that you'll receive exceptional audiologic care. But rather than sow the seeds of distrust in this video, I want to review several things that you should be looking for when choosing a hearing aid clinic to make sure that you actually get what you pay for. Generally speaking, when it comes to purchasing prescription hearing aids from a professional hearing aid clinic, the price range is going to be anywhere between $2,000 and $9,000 in most cases for a pair of hearing aids. Of course, you are going to see some outliers where some hearing aids will cost you less than $2,000, and I've even seen invoices for a pair of hearing aids that cost $15,000. So let's break down these ranges into 4 separate categories. In the $2,000 to $3,000 price range, I would consider this the lower end pricing or the insurance pricing. Most of the lower end pricing options are going to be what we call unbundled, which means you're paying separately for the hearing aids and the services that you receive for those hearing aids. The hearing aids at this price point will not likely be the higher end premium technology levels. They are more likely to be the lower end models. From a service side, they will likely provide you with either 1 or 2 appointments to fit and program those particular hearing aids, but everything after that will likely be fee for service, where you actually have to pay out of pocket more money to get those services. If you have the option to pay extra money to receive several key foundational best practices like real ear measurement, test box measures, and validation outcome measures, I would highly recommend it. Now, when you start getting into the next level of around $4,000 to $6,000, you should expect either mid-tier technology or maybe even premium tier technology and a professional fitting sequence that goes anywhere between 2 and 4 visits. At this price point, I would expect that several key foundational best practices are followed when fitting and programming your hearing aids. Now, if you want to learn more about these best practices that I'm talking about, you can check out this video that I will link down in the description, and you can also go to my website, hearingup.com, go to the resources tab, and download the best practice checklists. Now, I would expect at this $4,000 to $6,000 price point that there would be some level of included aftercare for a certain period of time, but the quality of this care is hit or miss. However, you should come away with good hearing aids that you're happy with and service that you're happy with when you spend upwards of $6,000 for hearing aids. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this video so far. If you are, make sure that you hit that like button. It really helps out my channel because it gets these videos in front of a broader audience. And while you're at it, if you have not yet hit that subscribe button with notification bell, go ahead and do that as well, because that ensures that you never miss one of my newly released videos. And I release multiple new videos every single week. That being said, it's greatly appreciated. Now back to the video. Now, things should start getting really good when you start going into the $8,000 to $9,000 price range for a pair of hearing aids. First and foremost, you should be getting a pair of premium name brand hearing aids from brands that you know and trust, like Phonak, Oticon, Resound, Starkey, Signia, and Widex. You should also be getting comprehensive best practice audiologic care from beginning to end of your 3 to 4 visit fitting sequence. When this is done well, you should be absolutely confident that you are receiving the maximum amount of benefit that you possibly can with your hearing aids. In addition, you should also be receiving some form of comprehensive follow-up care that is pre-scheduled anywhere between 2 and 4 times a year for preventative maintenance, repairs, and even follow-up reprogramming. In addition to this, you should expect that your hearing care professional and their team are willing to spend a significant amount of time with you when you're in their office. You should never feel rushed in an appointment when you're at this price point. They should also have some form of call-in support or walk-in support if you're not able to get on their schedule on short notice. I would also expect these clinics to have loaner hearing aids on hand so you do not have any downtime without your hearing aids if your hearing aids need to go back into the manufacturer for repair. Basically, the quality of the technology, the quality of the care, and the quality of the services that you receive should be top-notch when you're spending upwards of $9,000 for a pair of hearing aids. All right, now let's talk about that $12,000 to $15,000 price range, shall we? My gut reaction when I hear prices like this is, oh my gosh, they are absolutely price gouging their patients and taking advantage of them. However, I just need to take a step back and realize that sometimes it comes down to what you get and how long you get it for that will either justify or not justify the price. Honestly, a clinic that is charging this amount of money for a pair of hearing aids should be getting you the best hearing aids on the planet, and I'm not talking about a chain store here. I'm talking about the premium models that I had just mentioned a few minutes ago. They should also be providing you with no questions asked, comprehensive best practice audiologic care, and I'm talking everything when it comes to best practices. On top of that, the experience that you get when you go into a clinic that charges this amount of money should be white glove. I'm talking Ritz-Carlton, I'm talking the nicest places that you've ever been in your life. And to top it all off, they should be giving you this quality of care for anywhere between 5 and 10 years without charging you another penny. If they're doing all these things, then that $12,000 to $15,000, I would say that that's probably a good deal. However, if this clinic does not provide you with premium hearing aid technology, if they don't give you best practice audiologic care, if they limit the amount of time that they spend with you, if they do not give you an exceptional experience, and if they do not have support staff to help you out if you can't get in immediately for an appointment, then I would say it ain't worth it. Now here's the thing, I am no one to judge. I have my perspectives on what high quality care is and how much it's worth. You may see it in a completely different way, and that's okay. Here's the thing, there are a lot of things that go into how much something costs. costs. So a hearing aid clinic that's in California is going to have a lot more expenses than a clinic that's in, I don't know, New Hampshire. Not only are the cost of goods going to be different from different clinics, there's going to be different costs of the employees, there's different costs of real estate, and all of that. So at the end of the day, the cost that you end up paying is going to have a lot to do with other economic factors outside of what that clinic offers. Ultimately, there are many clinics out there that are really good and charge a fair price for what they give you. You just have to make sure that the price that you pay is commensurate with the technology level that you receive and the level of professional service that you get. Because if you're not careful, you could end up spending a lot of money and not get a whole lot in return.